With the NFL soon approaching and the New York Jets have missed the playoffs for a 14th consecutive year. It was a tough season for the Jets last year as they brought in quarterback Aaron Rodgers 2 seasons ago. His first season, as we all know, for his knee, first play, second play in the game, and that was it for the Jets season. And last season, even with a healthy Aaron Rodgers, this team still had some high expectations, and they just came up well short. Aaron Rodgers and well, Garrett Wilson still had his. I think he had like over 1,100 receiving yards, but the offense as a whole just wasn't it for the Jets, and that's what led to a lot of disappointment from the Jets and Jets fan base. Last season, this past off season, the Jets cut ties with quarterback Aaron Rodgers, and he later signed with the Steelers. But I think I think I can speak for Jets fans when I say this. The Aaron Rodgers short 2 year, even though he only played 1 year, the era wasn't that great, and it was actually a really disappointment. As when the Jets brought Aaron Rodgers, there was a lot of expectation, there was a lot of hope, there was like a light shining in a very dark room that was dark for a very long time, and Jets fan base media made it look like okay, this is the year. However long Aaron Rodgers is going to be with the Jets are going to be right there with the Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, competing for AFC Championship games, Super Bowls, but that never came to fruition. So in the end, for the Jets, they later cut ties with quarterback Aaron Rodgers. They cut ties with Devontae Adams. They later signed Justin Fields to a 2 year deal. Hopefully, that will shed some light in the dark room, but we'll see what he does and how he's able to adjust, and maybe he can prove himself one last time because this is also a now or never year for Justin Fields. So let's start off with what the Jets did this offseason. As we know, they signed quarterback Justin Fields. They also brought in a few other guys to help be able to help this team and be able to compete with other teams in the AFC, like Brandon Stevens, Francisco, Josh Myers, and many others. They also gave extension and re-signing to a couple key contributors to the team, like Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson. They both gave them each a 4 year deal, and they re-signed Jermaine Shearwood to a 3 year deal. They also let guys walk in free agency, such as DJ Reed, Javon Kinlaw. Those are like the main ones. I mean, they also let Morgan Moses go to the Patriots, but those are the main ones right there. They also cut ties with CJ Mosley for what it's worth. Moving on to the Jets draft class, as I think it's going to be a pretty impactful draft class for the Jets anyway. With their two first picks in the draft, their first round pick, Amon Membu, I believe in him. I think he'll be a good player. He'll have his rookie moments. I think it's natural for most tackles in the league to have that transition from the collegiate level to the NFL Pro League. Moving on to their second pick in the second round, they selected Mason Taylor at tight end out of LSU. I think he's going to be also a key contributor. He's actually already projected to be a starter for the Jets also, but I think it's just another key weapon, another key receiver for Justin, another option for Justin to throw the ball and hopefully push the ball down the field. In their fourth round pick, I like who they picked. I like Arian Smith out of a wide receiver out of Georgia. I think he can also be something. I don't want to say he's going to be, I hope everyone, all these guys that they drafted, become good players in the NFL. But I don't want to go overboard and say Arian Smith is going to be like a Jay Jettas or Jamar Chase or anything like that. But I think they have something good with Arian Smith, and I think he can be also a key contributor to this offense and help Justin push the ball down the field. But the defense players that they did draft, they did most of their signings this offseason were players on the defense side of the ball. So these are guys that are probably not going to be starting unless injury, obviously. But these are guys that aren't probably going to be starting unless or down the season, later down the season, or maybe next year. So in closing, to close it off with the Jets video, I don't think their ceiling and their floor honestly are that much. Like I don't think there's that much of a gap difference between their floor and their ceiling. I think the most that Justin Fields can hope for is that he can maybe ball out, hopefully put some good numbers, have Garrett Wilson maybe go over 1,000 yards, put up some decent numbers, put the Jets in a good enough position. Either way, if everything goes right, maybe they catch a lucky break here and there. I still don't believe this team's gonna make the playoffs. So with that being said, I think the best thing for Justin is to just ball out, Garrett Wilson over 1,000 yards, have the Jets win enough games to where they're not in the top five pick because this is a loaded quarterback class. win enough games, like say 7, 8 games, that would probably be around drafting 10, maybe somewhere in the teens, like early 13, 14. And I think the best for Justin is to really put the Jets in a tough position. Maybe not a tough position, just to make a decision, a choice. Okay, are we going to continue moving forward with Justin? Or are we going to maybe trade a first round pick, maybe for next year's first round pick swaps, whatever, right? To move up with the team and go whatever, top five, top four, top six, and draft a quarterback for the future. For their floor, I don't see this team being making the playoffs. Their floor probably being somewhere between 5 wins, 4 wins even.